All right. Errol Spence wants to go right back at it with Sean Porter. Man, let me tell you, that is a hardcore dude, but that causes some issues for some other people in the sport of boxing. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, subscribe. Also, I want to thank everybody that supports the channel and not just the subscribers, but the real supporters of the channel that watch the videos to the end. Let me know what you think about the video. Leave comments in the comment section, like, share, all that good stuff. Also, I want to thank everybody that goes by Fanon Boxing and Politics and the OG Boxing Talk Sunday morning live show that we do with myself, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, and Curtis Anderson. All right. I told you I like Errol Spence Jr. That dude is a dog. And he didn't just prove that in the fight that took place this weekend. And as we know, it was an incredible fight with him and Sean Porter for the unified WBC and IBF belts. Errol Spence Jr. was a champion. Sean Porter was a champion. They clashed in the ring. It was an epic 12-round battle between the two of these guys. Sean Porter performed exceptionally well. Errol Spence Jr. performed exceptionally well. It was a complete dog fight the whole time. People were just, Errol Spence Jr. going at Sean Porter, fending him off, pushing him back, pivoting off the ropes, showing a high degree of skill, hitting Errol Spence with some really big shots. Errol Spence Jr. hitting him with a lot of big shots, hitting him to the body, winds up dropping Sean Porter. It's a decision. Errol Spence gets a split decision win. Nobody can be unhappy with that fight. On top of that, the fight does very well on pay-per-view, does like 350,000 pay-per-view buys. So it proves, I did a video about this yesterday. It proves once again that black fighters sell. So let's cut out that narrative that there's no reason for a guy like Errol Spence to fight a guy like Sean Porter because it won't sell. That nonsense, right? Self-fulfilling prophecies. These guys like Bob Arum and De La Hoya and these other guys won't make those fights. So those fights don't sell because they won't make them, right? Anyway, Errol Spence was getting some heat by some Terrence Crawford fans and not Terrence Crawford fans, just Errol Spence Jr. haters. People that don't like Errol Spence Jr. because say he wasn't the boogeyman, that he got exposed, this, that, and the other thing. And Errol Spence Jr. says, let's run it back. Let's run it back. There was talk about him immediately after the fight about him fighting Danny Garcia. Now, when Danny Garcia got in the ring and he said, Danny Garcia said he wanted to fight next, I could kind of hear in Errol Spence Jr.'s voice that he really wasn't interested in that fight because he said, if I can't get the Terrence Crawford fight next, and I think that might've been in the press conference, if I can't get Terrence Crawford, or if I can't get, he might've said Manny Pacquiao, then, Danny Garcia. But it's obviously, if you look at the track record of Errol Spence Jr., that's not a fight that he was really, that I would think that he would really be looking to fight. He's been looking to fight the guys that are going to get him closer to being the undisputed champion, and that is Terrence Crawford. But in this case, Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, and it was Sean Porter. But seeing as so many people are saying things about him, then I find it really refreshing that he's willing to come out and say, let's run it back. Let's do it again. And it makes perfect sense for those guys to do it again. It was a great fight. Sean Porter didn't have a rematch clause, similar to how Keith Thurman, when he fought Manny Pacquiao, didn't have a rematch clause. But Manny Pacquiao's not giving Keith Thurman a rematch of a good fight. Because Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao was a good fight. That was not like a washing. That was a good fight. I do believe and I agree with the decision that Manny Pacquiao won that fight, but Keith Thurman did enough in that fight to know, hey man, if he ran it back with Manny Pacquiao, things might be different. Might not, but might be. Sean Porter definitely showed that about Errol Spence Jr. That, hey, if he ran it back, it might be different. Sean Porter might be able to pull it out. And I don't think Sean Porter's going to be as big an underdog in the second fight. Although I don't think that fight's going to turn out any differently, except for the next time, depending on how much wear and tear Sean Porter has on him, the next fight might not go to distance. Nah, who am I kidding? That fight's going to go to distance. It's going to be another war. It's going to be another war. And hats off to Errol Spence Jr. for wanting to jump right back in there. Now, the effect of this, though, is interesting because that fight would take place early to 2020. It's early 2020, right? For Errol Spence Jr., Keith Thurman. Let's take for example that maybe Sean Porter wins that fight. Well, there'll be a trilogy. That means the whole year of 2020 is taken up. Or if Errol Spence Jr. wins, then there's the Manny Pacquiao fight, which is the big money fight. And as much as I want to see Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight, I know full well, and I think most people know full well, that it is that if Manny Pacquiao will fight Errol Spence, then that is a fight that can not just have him be a 350, 700,000 pay-per-view fighter, because let's get this right. If that fight did 350,000 on pay-per-view for Sean Porter 1, and Errol Spence, Sean Porter 1, Errol Spence versus Sean Porter 2 is going to go significantly higher. Because everybody know that they get so many people, the people that missed it the first time ain't going to want to miss it the second time. And the highlight reel that you can see for this fight that Fox is going to put up and promote during the whole time of the fight, and the general intensity of the lead into the last fight, it's just going to carry on into this fight. And it's going to be a bigger show. So you're going to have Errol Spence Jr., if he wins, coming off of a bigger show against Sean Porter with three straight back-to-back, three straight pay-per-view fights where this guy does major money. He'll be in the same boat as Manny Pacquiao, coming off of three straight pay-per-view fights that are big deals. And they're going to push those two guys to fight. So the effect of that is, what does that do for Terrence? Where does that leave Terrence Crawford? It leaves Terrence Crawford at the beginning of 2021, a year and a half from now, because this rematch has been made. It's going to go. Errol Spence Jr. has finished off his year. Terrence Crawford is going to finish his year off in December. Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter is going to probably be March time frame. What are we in October? Probably the March time frame. They probably need 6 months. They need 6 months because the battle that they took last fight. They're not going to jump in there and turn it around too quickly, because those guys both took a tremendous amount of pressure. They're both going to have to heal, going to both have to get their bodies back together and to get back in there. And then you got a second fight that's going to happen for either one of those guys at the end of next year. So just the rematch itself and the success of the pay-per-view, man, it really does put things in a funny situation for the fight between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, if that's going to happen. So, but nobody can argue about it. Nobody can argue about it. And see, that's a real funny thing. This is also, by the way, hopefully we won't get jinxed in Sean Porter. And I'm going to say this, but I have no reason to believe that Sean Porter would do this. None. That he won't do a Tyson Fury. And after you get a great fight, these guys start negotiating for a rematch. And like Deontay Wilder was looking to rematch Tyson Fury after that draw. And then Tyson Fury goes the weasel, heads off somewhere else so they can try to build the fight up. And he winds up getting a big gash over his face and fighting a bunch of guys that nobody cares about. What little bit of increase he got to, not little bit, the amount of goodwill and the increase in his profile that took place that was a result of the Deontay Wilder fight go, poof into the wind. Hopefully Sean Porter won't. I do not believe Sean Porter will repeat that. But hey, man, my hat goes off to Errol Spence Jr. for saying let's run it back, sitting the Danny Garcia fight down and going after this. I'm sure Sean Porter will accept. I can't. What other option does he have? Either go fight somebody else or make a ton of money in a rematch with Errol Spence Jr. And he's more than likely going to make a larger percentage of the paper. He's probably going to make a larger percentage of a bigger pay-per-view pie this fight than he did last fight, because he's proven that he's brought he brought a lot of the show to it. So anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is this going to affect the possibility of having a Errol Spence Crawford fight? Because after this, Manny Pacquiao more than likely is right there for the winner. Let me know in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace. All right. Bob Arum says that he wants a Terrence Crawford fight with Errol Spence Jr. He said that after the Sean Porter fight that took place this weekend. And let me do that again because I picked